5 essential secrets to effectively ask your man for help or anything in general. Observing some of my girlfriends and hearing some of their complaints that their man sometimes delaying on the child support, or their man is not cutting the grass, or their man not paying for insurance or oil change, or their man not taking the garbage out. All of those things, when I hear, it just tells me, okay, that means women are not clear on how effectively ask their husband's fiance or their man to help them. So that's why today I'm gonna go step by step how you can do it, and plus you will understand what happens in a man's mind when you're asking him for help. Because sometimes you're stretching his generosity, and when you're stretching his generosity, he gets triggered. And we'll talk about it, how you can overcome that. How often do you ask a man for help and you get no? And second, do you even ask a man for help, or you already feel in your head that you will get a no, and then what's the point? And if you do get no, what do you get no to? To what kind of request? So I know I'm asking here 2 questions.
They felt I was being entitled to the help, which I can see how that is, because my father never told me no growing up. And I have a brother as well. So there were always men in my life who could say yes.
Yes.
And so I think subconsciously I was like entitled to the yes. Like I was like, you should be saying, there's no reason for you to say no. You actually have to say yes. There's no other reason.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. If you attracted a man who didn't have the same role model between his father and his mother, it will be very hard for him to say yes to you all the time. He will be resistant.
Yes, exactly that.
Yeah. And so you had expectations and sense of entitlement, and he grew up in a different environment, and here you guys have the battle. Who will win? This is going to be a perfect conversation for you and your future relationships.
Really asking for things or to go do things, I receive a lot of no's.
What is he saying no to?
I get no's. It's something like, can we go out to eat? Or can I get this item? So they are like, oh, my basic needs are met. But when I ask for anything above, I do tend to get no.
Got it.
So it's like, yeah, it's not irritating towards me. It's like a no and then a bunch of reasons why.
Got it. So we'll talk about that. I would like for you to take a note, because some of it are very common sense, but we typically use those 5 essential secrets with anyone in our life except our men. Number 1, if you need to ask your man for help to pay bills, to take garbage out, or anything, you gotta do it in the right time and at the right moment. This is step number 1. Who would like to share when is a bad time to ask a man for help?
Before you feed him.
Exactly. When he's hungry, he's not hearing you. That's number 1 example. What other examples? When it's a bad time to ask a man for help or anything. You want to go to vacation, you need his money, you want to buy a new dress, and you want to ask him, but there's plenty of bad times when you cannot ask him. So when is it?
It's like a long day from work.
Absolutely. He's exhausted. He's stressed. He's tired. He needs to take a shower. He needs to eat. And you're asking him, honey, I want to buy a new dress or whatever. It's like he's not hearing you. What other examples? When you cannot ask a man for help or anything in general. He's stressed. Bad news. He's watching TV. He's reading a book. He just came from the gym. He's stinking. He wants to take a shower. He's going to the funeral. Somebody called him from the family and shared something that he's stressed about or frustrated about it. He's on the email. He's sending an email to his colleague or his employer or his boss. I will say that 90% it's probably is a bad time to ask. And Samantha and Ayana, you probably already know when is a good time to ask a man for anything.
The best time is like right after they eat. Like,
exactly.
they're relaxed from work and they had a meal and they kind of like took a deep breath and like they're just sitting down. That's the best time.
Yes. Yes. This is the best time. But however, sometimes there'll be days when you need something while he's watching TV or while he's reading or while he's on the computer. And we'll talk about what happens in his mind when you do ask him during the bad times. And even if he just finished eating and you're stretching again his generosity by asking, honey, I really would love to go to Hawaii. And he knows it's $6,000, or he'll get grouchy. You get it? Because again, this is outside of his financial budget, and so he will not be very happy about it at all. But for now, we need to know that the ideal time to ask for help is when he is not after work, when he's hungry, when he gotta go to the bathroom or take a shower. We do not ask, honey, can you take trash out while he's in the bathroom? Just kind of common sense. Number two, we gotta ask in the right tone. And that's when ladies, unfortunately, I'm noticing how my girlfriends are talking, a lot, few of them, to their husbands. And I'm like, oh my God, you cannot ask husbands like that. It's just so improper, and that just triggers them. Because if we're using a wrong tone of voice, men hear it not as request, but as what?
A demand?
Yes, yes. And the moment a man feels like you're demanding him of something, he's gone. Now he's in a battlefield with you, and you're on one side, he's on the other side, he's getting all of his bullets, all of his weapons, and he's ready to fight and argue and battle you. He's blocked from you. He's not hearing you. He's not interested in helping you at all. You need him to take a garbage out or clean the gutters or cut the grass, but instead, he's really disgusted with you because you just ask, can you take a trash out? Can you smell? Our whole house smells like dirt, like garbage. When can you finally take a garbage out? This is a demand. When will you finally cut the grass and clean the gutters? Or pay the bills? We're gonna lose the house or a rent. We can lose this apartment. What are we gonna do? We're gonna live on the street? This is a demand. When our emotions go high, they're gone. He loses a full attraction to you. He hears you as a mean mother or a mean grandmother that he used to have in the childhood. And all of his sexual interest, all of his love starts to diminish. This is how you open the door to eventually getting to breakup and divorce. By you raising your tone and demanding him to do something. And I know for us, there's big reasons. You broke up with your boyfriend or your ex-husband, he needs to pay a child alimony. You get frustrated and angry why he's not paying the child's alimony. The child cannot go to private school or to soccer or gymnastics. You get frustrated, and of course you're raising your voice. But now you're raising your voice and he's fully disgusted with you, and he doesn't want to do anything to you and his child, just because your tone is 5 times higher than normal. That's how men are reacting to the wrong tone of voice.
When I watch and observe you switch into that femininity and you get that smile and have so much love and the tone you use, I like blush, physically blush, and I'm like, oh my gosh. I know that it's really, I know that works, but I can't, I have to admit, sometimes I have a hard time doing that.
Well, consider, Samantha, you better blush and even feel that you ruined it, but your man will still appreciate. Oh my God, I've been saying for 11 years, honey, you're my king, you're my lion, you're my tiger, you're so strong, you're so smart. And you know, it sounds so childish, but it makes him happy and he giggles and he smiles. So keep doing and doing, no matter how much you're blushing, no matter how much it feels uncomfortable, they love it. Imagine that a man tells you every day, "You're my princess, you're so beautiful, I love you, you're so sexy." If a man tells us how much they love us and how beautiful we are, we feel great, don't we? The same way, they need to hear that. You know, and so you complimenting him even though it feels not natural because your parents didn't talk to each other this way. Of course it feels like awkward, and then it will become your nature. That's how you will start talking to your man. You gotta get a man, like I shared in the last program, they're like children. When they're asleep and when they just finish eating, they feel so relaxed. They're rough on the outside, but inside they're so soft and they're so kind and so generous. You know, the more we're bringing that outside of them and telling them how strong and amazing they are, the more they feel like, yeah, I am her man. And their shoulders go like this and they're walking around. I can do anything for my woman. And it feels so awesome. And we're giving this sense of manhood to them when we're this soft and gentle and feminine. So don't be greedy. Keep giving it. Keep giving it, even though it feels so strange and uncomfortable, if that makes sense. If you are demanding a man, man becomes tensed and pressured. And men cannot stand feeling pressured and tense from his woman. Just remember that. You don't want to be a woman that pushes his buttons and he gets triggered by you. We don't want that. Get him on your side. And getting him on your side is you appreciating, acknowledging, admiring him, and gently asking him. Now you have the right time and you have the right tone. How do you ask your man to take a trash out? Who would like to share? For example, the trash is full. It's his duty. How do you ask a man to take a trash out? So that it's a request and not a demand. But at the same time, not being attached that it's done right now.
Usually I have to watch my tone. My tone is what gets me in trouble. After I repeat myself a couple times, it doesn't sound very nice. But in the beginning, I usually just ask like, "Oh, can you take this out for me? I'd really appreciate to have the whole kitchen clean before everyone gets here." And I kind of just like leave it at that, like I'm expecting you to do it, and then I go about my day. Now, if it's not done, that's when my tone gets messed up and it's not cute anymore.
Got it. Well, Ayana, first of all, let me acknowledge you that you're already recognizing that the tone is that what gets you in trouble. And this is already 50% of you succeeding in correcting what's not working, is acknowledging that this is something that you are causing and it's not working. Because most of the time people are in denial and just blaming others. And so I just want to acknowledge you. This is already a big deal. And now, with regards to the request, if we are making a request, but then we are getting upset that the request hasn't been completed, that means we don't give a free will to our man. And if we're not giving a free will to our man, please write it down. And that means we got upset, our tone goes up. That means it's not a request. And what is it?
A demand.
Exactly. Okay? Because if our tone goes up and we get upset that he didn't take his trash out, we are controlling, manipulating, dominating, and this is all inside of the demand. And please know, for a man to want to do your request, you gotta have two things. Do you remember the 3 needs of a man? One of them is to experience that they want to feel free. Freedom. That they're not combined in the marriage and they feel like they're stuck for the rest of their life. And so they gotta experience the freedom and free will from that freedom, and also the second need of a man to feel needed. If a woman says, well, I can go to work and make money, I can pay my bills, I can take a trash out, a man doesn't feel needed. Especially a masculine man. He goes to work for you. He wants to provide for you. He wants to protect you. He wants to lead you. This is all his masculine roles. And if you can do it all yourself, he doesn't feel needed. But if you're attached and getting upset that he takes the trash out, that means you're demanding him. And the demand diminishes his desire to do it. And so, to make a request, it's very simple. For example, John, please take a trash out. That's it. You calling his name because he doesn't know whether you're asking your son, your daughter, or next door neighbor Jason. You're asking him actually. And he hears your name. And he's not reading, he's not watching a movie or football, he's not in the shower. You see he ate, and you're asking him. And then the please makes it a request. And a tone. John, please take the trash out. And I'll say why you should not use a word can or could. We'll talk about it shortly. John, please take a trash out. Like that. Very simple. Name and please. And tone. And the right time. Third, we need to make a request to the point. If we say, John, please take a trash out, otherwise we're gonna get roaches and it's gonna stink, and then I have a headache from all of the smells, you know how I am with the mold, and then it's gonna be late, our friend's gonna come over, and it's gonna be still stinking, and the air freshener not gonna kill it, and our kids, they're running around, they can, mess up with our trash can. Just could you please take it out, because I'm just too busy, I have to cook and I have to do the lunch and dinner and feed our kids and the dog and the cat and the fish and our hamster. At the end of the day, he is your fiance. He is your husband. You don't need to explain all of this request, because if you do it, he lost you 3 minutes ago. He's out. He's not listening. So it really has to be short to the point. John, please take the trash out. That's it. We as a women, we can go on and on and on talking to each other, women, because we can comprehend around 10,000 words a day. Men cannot. And so we have to be very direct. Some women, because they're insecure, and had bad experiences with other men, other relationship in the past, this is how they do it. John, are you hungry? She wants him to take her to the restaurant instead of telling her, John, I'm hungry. Let's go to the restaurant. She is having this hidden agenda and she wants him to guess what she wants. Why do you think she does this? Most of the women want a man to read their mind, which is impossible. But here we have to also get, because some women gone through a really bad relationships in the past, they had bad experiences with men. They're scared of making a request because they're afraid to hear what?
No.
No. And therefore, if a man will say, what, do you want me to take you to the restaurant? She can say what? No. I can cook dinner myself. I was just thinking maybe you're hungry and wants us to go to a restaurant. Do you see? So she can back off and really say, no, that's not what I meant. She can say, can you smell our home? Something is off. Don't you smell anything, John? She wants him to say, oh, our trash is full. Do you want me to take it out? Do you get it? Or she opens the garbage can and says, our trash is so full. She wants him to guess and take the trash out and take it outside. But you know what man does? He comes, press it hard and say, oh, there's plenty of space. Because men don't function the same way. They're not reading indirect messages and our hidden agendas. Do you get it? They need the direct request. Otherwise, he's gone. He's like, whoa, let me make it more space in the trash.
I had to laugh because my little brother, he's like 16, he just did that the other day. My mom's like, can you take out the trash? And he's like, there's plenty of space.
Exactly.
They really don't think of so. You have to be very specific. Like, this is what I would like.
Yes. Yeah. So we went over 4 points, and the 5th point. With a man, you gotta pick up words correctly. And what do I mean by that? For example, you could say to a man, John, could you please take a trash out? And he will say, no, I couldn't. You leave a window open. Or he could say, I could. And then 5 hours later, you said that you could, but why didn't you take a trash out? But it was too general for him. And he would say, well, I could do a lot of things. Do you know what I mean? It's still not direct enough for him. It's like, I could fix a kitchen. I could do remodeling. I could go to the grocery store. I could do a lot of things. And so that's why we're not asking, could you? Can you? You're gently asking, John, please take trash out. Because sometimes men will be doing these things with the could. And that's why you got to be also careful in how you are choosing your words. And again, remember not being attached that it has to be done right now. Is that clear?